My name is Karina and welcome to the Karina Chronicles. In this video I'm going to compare my book taste to the one of G from BookRoast because I'm so enjoying the Orlium Readathon that I thought she deserved a spot in my Comparing to Booktubers video series. So that's what I'm doing right now. In this video series, for which I already did A Clockwork Reader and Books with Emily Fox, I go to Goodreads and let it compare our book taste, and then I choose 10 books to talk about that I found interesting that we have very similar taste in or that we differed from very much. And I got some interesting books here, I can tell you. We have quite a similar taste, BookRoast and I. I found out there were not many books that we both disliked. There were a lot of books that we both liked. And there were some books that we very much disagreed on. So I'm going to talk about them now. So as I said, our taste is quite similar. So that means that out of the 10 books, I have 5 books I want to talk about that we have very similar taste in. The first one of that is Sky in the Deep by Adrienne. She gave it 4 stars, I gave it 5 stars, and I really wanted to mention it. I cannot show it to you because I lent it to someone, because that is how much I liked it. It's a debut novel from Adrienne, who has written a lot of books in the last few years, but I only read her debut, but she immediately became one of my new favorite authors. I really loved the fantasy. I loved that it was standalone. It got a companion novel later, but it's in a completely different time and different characters. I really loved that. I loved the world. I loved that the characters were likable, but also very real. And the romance was very real. I really loved everything about it. So I was really glad to see that BookRoast read the book. Because, well, I was just surprised. I don't have the idea that a lot of people read these books. And I'm also really happy that she liked it. The second one, I'm maybe even more happy because that is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. We both gave this book 5 stars. And Becky Chambers, I also only read 1 book by. I own another one for Adrienne as well, by the way. But it also became one of my favorite authors. This is a science fiction novel, but it's very wholesome. The characters in here are just so sweet, and it's still an exciting story, but it is more about character development and society, but then set in space. Really love this book, and we both gave it 5 stars. So if you trust any of us, you should read this book. The next book is also quite interesting, I think, because I don't really hear much people talking about it, and that is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I gave this 4 stars and BookRoast gave it 5 stars. And this book, I have to be honest, I do remember some things, but not that much. I think it's just the vibe that comes out of it. It is just a very nice fantasy that reads quick, that you love the characters, that is exciting. It is a duology, so I still need to read Muse of Nightmares, which is the sequel to this one, but BookRoast also still needs to read that one. So that's funny. But yeah, we both recommend it, so try it out. Oh, and I have a Mass Market paperback. I love those, you know that. The next book is actually my favorite book of all time, and we both really liked it. She gave it 4 stars, I obviously 5. But we rated the whole series actually quite the same, and we both really loved it. And this is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. The first part in the Song of Ice and Fire series, and after which the TV series is called. And yeah, this is just a fantasy with political intrigues, very nice characters, very likable, just a lot of things that a fantasy needs in good language, and the rest of the series is also very good. So yeah, read it. My favorite book of all time. Not a book that I recommend to the most people, but for me personally, it's my favorite book of all time. And then one other book that we had very similar taste in, and that is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. She gave it 5 stars and I gave it 4 stars. This is a YA, not really fantasy, more contemporary. I usually don't really like this, but this is about a girl that writes a webcomic and it's very popular, very famous, like millions of people follow it. But of course she's behind the screen, nobody knows who she is. And then she meets a guy and he apparently makes fan fiction about her stories. And it's a very cute relationship kind of thing. Well, they don't have a relationship yet, obviously, but they just, I don't know, everything is so cute in here. And also how she creates this story, she tells a lot about it. It's a really cute YA contemporary, so highly recommend. Hi. The setting is slightly different. It's dark now. I put on all the lights in the hope that you can still see me. But as I said, I had an appointment and I thought I might could make it, but I didn't. So now I need to film the rest of this video in the evening. I'm sorry for that. But I also think it might be better for the video because I was already a little bit rushing. I think you noticed. And that's not fun because the video could be very fun. So now I'm going to chill and talk with you about the last 5 books that I wanted to talk about. And therefore I first have 3 books that I thought were great. But G does not agree with me. And I think that's quite funny. Although I'm also a little bit surprised by them. So the first one of those is The Last Namsara by Kristen Ciccarelli. And I gave this book 4 stars. It was a really nice young adult fantasy. It was original, it had dragons. I thought it was very fun. I know a lot of people that gave this 5 stars. I didn't think it was that special. I also forgot a lot about it at the moment, which is usually not a good sign. If it's really a 5-star book for me, I will remember a lot. And I only know it has dragons and the main character is a dragon slayer. So that's not much. I also know I love the cover. And I knew that the characters were quite cool, I think. And a little bit of morally grey. So I loved that. G gave it 1 star. I don't know how often you give 1 stars, but I gave like 2 or 3 through my whole life. So 1 star for this book that I gave 4 stars is incredibly rude. No, not rude, but I'm really surprised. This book is just good. I don't know. I want to know what she thinks is wrong with them. But, well, apparently there's something wrong. I don't know. It's so... It also gave me a little bit of... well, actually the other way around, because I read that one later. But it gives me the same vibes as Strange the Dreamer, which we just concluded that we both love. So I'm really confused about this, but well, she hated it, obviously. The next book I can understand a little bit more, because I was surprised myself that I gave it 5 stars, because it was slow and gruesome and it was everything I usually don't really like about a book, but then done very well, which made me give it 5 stars. Well, G actually DNF'd it. And that is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. And this book is based on Russian mythology or Russian stories, Russian fairy tales is it actually. And therefore it's really slow and heavy, but it's really pretty, really beautiful, and really really something different from other things that I've read. And therefore I gave it 5 stars. I really liked it. But I do understand that people could DNF this book because it's so slow. And you don't want books to get you into a slump. So if this actually happens, I understand that she thought, well, this is going too slow for me. I'm DNFing it. So this one I do get, but I sat through it and gave it 5 stars. Although I also thought it was slow sometimes. So maybe you should give it a try. And the next one, I am not sure if I have an opinion about or disagreement on this. Because I really loved it, but it's very specific. So I can also quite understand that she did not. But that is the book Slaughterhouse 5 by Kurt Vonnegut. I love this book. I loved his other book Breakfast of Champions more even. But this book also really touched me. It's about the bombardment in Dresden in Germany in the Second World War. And it's very interesting because it has like a time traveling science fiction touch to it, while it is actually a historical fiction about the Second World War. And I think it's very interesting and very well done, and his writing style just really touches me. That's also with Breakfast of Champions, by the way. And BookRoast gave it 2 stars. So from that I conclude the writing style doesn't really touch her, and she might find it confusing, because it could be. And I wouldn't know what other reason there would be, because it's just a very good story. I don't understand. Maybe she needed to read it for school. You never know. That might be a possibility, because that usually makes people hate books. I could highly understand if this book was one that she needed to read for school, that she didn't really like it, because some books are forced on us when we're in school, while they work a lot better when you're actually interested in them. Weird, right? And then there are 2 more books that I want to talk about. 2 books that G loved and I didn't really. And the difference between our ratings are a little bit smaller here. But I was still very surprised, because these are books I have opinions about, and apparently she really has a different opinion. The first one of that is Simon versus the Homosapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. I really didn't like this book that much. I gave it 3 stars, and I think I was generous, because I really thought nothing interesting happened and it wasn't special. And LGBTQ plus representation has been done better, a lot better than this. But apparently she was one of the first that did it in this way, in this contemporary way, coming of age stories, which is good. I think that part of it might be the reason that I gave this book 3 stars, because that is just fine. But G gave it 5 stars. 5 stars! This book really is not a 5-star read for me. Oh, I feel bad, because Becky Albertalli signed it for me. Because I actually met her. And I really wanted to like this book, but I really didn't. I think that might be the reason that I gave it 3 stars. I really didn't like it, but she was so sweet. I also read Yes, No, Maybe So by her, and I also really didn't like that one. I gave it 2 stars. I think she's just not for me. But she's done some great work in YA novels, so I would still recommend this book, because there are a lot of people that love it. I'm definitely the exception here. And BookRoast is the proof of that, because she gave this book 5 stars. So, would recommend this. And am a bit sad that I am not one of those people that love this. And then the last book I think is really funny, because that book I just finished and ranted about a lot. And she apparently loves it. And that is Serpent and Dove by Shelby Mahurin. I gave this book 2 stars because I was very invested in the world. I wanted to finish this book. I liked how fast the reading was going. But I hated the characters and how things were going and the romance, and I hated a lot in this book. So I gave it 2 stars for the nice world and how it kept me going. But that was it. And G gave it 4 stars. 4 stars is like a very good solid read. So I am very curious what because our tastes appear to be very similar if you look at the rest of the books. I'm very curious what she saw in this one that I didn't see. Because we like the same fantasy stuff. And this is just not it. Well, maybe she just gave it 4 stars for this incredible world because it is very interesting. Maybe. Maybe she reacted to my video lately, which was like the highlight of my week. And I didn't even tell you in my reading vlog. Well, I should tell you either way. She reacted to my TBR video of her readathon with "Good luck, Karina," which I thought was really sweet. She also sent me a message on Etsy because I bought her bookmark, and she was like, "Thank you, Karina." And I was like, "Oh, thank you for existing and making my life better." Sorry for being this dramatic. But maybe if she ever sees this video, because she does actually watch videos that people make for her, about her, apparently, maybe she can tell me what she saw in this book that I didn't see. And also what was so bad, what was so bad with the last Namsara, but because I'm really confused about that one as well. So that was actually it for this video. I really hope you liked it. I love making these. So if you have a suggestion which booktuber I should do next, please leave it down below in the comments. I already got the suggestion for Haley in Bookland. And I wanted to do her second, and then I wanted to do her third, and I still did not do it. And the reason for that is that it needs it takes a lot more preparation, because Haley actually doesn't give ratings anymore. So for comparing my taste with hers, I need to read her full reviews and make like a rating for myself, like in which scale I would put her. And I never take the time. So she's definitely on the list. I will definitely do a comparing video with her because she's one of my favorite booktubers. So don't leave that one down in the comments below, because people already have done that and I'm trying. But if you have another booktuber that you would like to see me compare to, let me know. And if you like this video, please like the video. If you subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. I hope you'll have a lovely day filled with books, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye! I am so excited about this little video series that I make. I really hope you like it too, because I get so excited when I compare myself to them just because I want to know their taste.